Okay, Satnam. Hi, everyone. In this series on grief, I thought it was the most important to share with you the practical tools, the things that you can do in a moment of despair and of deep grief and of deep suffering and of not knowing which way is up and feeling this is so unfair. What you need is just something practical that you know will work. Something practical that you can rely on and develop a trust in, that you know will bring you from whatever state you're vibrating at to a higher state, so that you can then tend to your children, then you can then, go to your job, then you can then even feel just a tiny glimmer of hope. And so breath of fire is one of those Kundalini Yoga techniques that is, it is one of those mainstay techniques for a reason. It works quickly. We are oxygenating the blood. We are cleansing the internal organs with that oxygenated blood. And that has an effect on your mood. That has an effect on the endocrine system, on how the glands secrete. And then it changes your physiology, which changes your psychology. It changes the way that you look at the world by changing the internal conditions, right? And one of the reasons why I love Kundalini Yoga so much is because it works and it works quickly. And every single technique that I have dedicated myself to, I have gotten the textbook, what was written in the textbook as the benefit for that technique. I have experienced it. And breath of fire is no different. The reason why I want to share it with you in this kind of a way is because we use it in so many different meditations and techniques and kriyas. So I want you to have the proper foundation of how to do it. There's a lot of confusion of how to do it because there are similar techniques that are slightly different, will give you slightly different effects. And so I want to make sure that if you're doing breath of fire, the Kundalini Yoga breath of fire, that you know exactly what you're doing and how to do it, because 30 seconds of breath of fire will have an effect. 30 seconds of breath of fire will help you if you are in that place where you just need a tiny glimmer of hope. 3 minutes is better, 5 minutes is better, 9 minutes is better, 30 minutes is better. But 30 seconds, it is one of those things that I know I can turn to when I'm standing in the kitchen and 2 babies are screaming and I'm thinking to myself, how did I get here? How did this perfect life that I worked so hard to create just crumble so quickly in my hands? How did this happen? How am I supposed to go on? How am I supposed to live without you? I know that I can do 30 seconds of breath of fire and feel differently. So that is what I want to share with you today. Bring the palms together at the center of the chest. And press them firmly together right at the heart. Inhale deep. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale. Hold the breath. Stretch up the spine. Squeeze up. And exhale. Okay, hands just resting in the lap, eyes will be closed, and you can focus behind the closed eyes on the third eye point. So breath of fire is an equal and rhythmic inhale and exhale through the nose. And the important words is that they are equal and rhythmic. So there are some yogic breathing techniques that overemphasize either the exhale or the inhale, and they all have their uses, they all have their purposes, but for this particular technique, it is an equal inhale and exhale. And one of the ways that I was taught to do breath of fire was to sort of focus on the rhythm, focus on making it even, let the navel sort of pump in its own regard. Like, don't over focus on pumping the navel. There are some breaths and some techniques where we are forcing a pumping of the navel. It's not quite that. You're really letting the inhale be sort of a relaxation, and the exhale is a little bit of some energy behind the navel, but you're not focusing on the navel. I want to say that again. You're not focusing on the navel. focus on the nose, focus on right where the breath enters and exits the nostrils, and then try to find your own rhythm. And it might actually be faster or slower than my rhythm right now. So if you are taking this on, or if you are working with this in any kind of a personal way, it could be slower or it could be faster. The pace of the rhythm is not designated, but it does have to be rhythmic, and it does have to be equal. If it's not equal, you might start to feel heady or disoriented, not disoriented, dizzy, or like you might hyperventilate. That means you're not doing it correctly. If you're doing breath of fire correctly, you could go for half an hour and not feel like you're going to get dizzy. Okay? So eyes closed, focus on the tip of the nose, or focus on where the air is entering. Eyes can be focused behind the third eye. Inhale deep. Exhale.